So he just my room bottoming out. I trust you can hear me. Can everybody hear me? Let's start out. Let's start out there. Looks like it's yellow now, so it's getting a little better. It was red. Oh, there we go. Now it hit green. So it should be good. Should be good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the hell's going on here. I don't know. Not sure. But it just went green here, so I'm assuming you will see everything correctly eventually. But please let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because I started last stream with the new setup, in case you weren't here on Wednesday, and ended up talking to myself for about 2 minutes. So, yeah, it looks like whatever was going on in the interwebs has cleared up. But, yeah, my meter was way up, and then it was red, and then it was dead, and then it was up and down. So, okay, Mary Jim, you're hearing me. Rachel's hearing me. ES says yes. How you doing, ES? Nice to meet you. That's a new name. Batman says we can now. Good. Yeah, so the latency at the beginning, that wasn't me. My computer's running solid, thank God. That was actually the internet. I live in the north tip of Idaho, so, you know, if I did pre-records and stuff, you'd never experience that. But for live streaming, we're at the mercy of whatever the hell's going on in the internet. So I apologize to any of you, but that's out of my control. It was glitchy at first, yeah. But that was the internet glitch, Josh, just so you know. But it looks like everything's solid. Everything's good. You can hear me. You can see me. And my God, that's as good as I could ask for. As far as doing a better start than last time, I can't account for latency. There's nothing I can do for what's going on the interwebs. But everything looks good and sounds good. Thank you, Jim Gwynn. Nocturnal Frequency Radio is here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Better dead than red. Oh, I see what you did there, Batman. So, okay. There we go. Yeah. So I think we're good. Welcome to the Friday show, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Paranormal Portal. As always, happy weekend. We're all there finally, and I couldn't be more thrilled because I get to spend tonight and tomorrow night talking to you. I guess we could always take on more nights of shows, but I don't know if I used to do. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the history of the Paranormal Portal, but there was a time in the first year of the podcast, and I was doing streaming as well, and I did 3 podcast episodes every week, and I streamed 7 days a week on YouTube at the time. And then we've since expanded to Rumble and Facebook Live and X and Twitter, Twitch, not Twitter, because Twitter is X. But you know what I'm saying. So I did that for a couple years straight, just doing shows every night of the week for years, and only missing an occasional show here and there. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. However, the problem gets to be that it's competitive on the internet. So what I opted to do was, rather than throw out a ton of me that you can catch anytime, I decided, well, maybe it makes more sense to have scheduled days. That way I'm not trying to compete with everybody else out there, and trying to get your attention. So, but yeah, that's the history of the show. So I think it was around the tail end of the daily shows. Yeah, I think that was probably the Night Terrors. It started out as Bedtime Stories from Beyond, but then I renamed it because I didn't want it to be appealing to kids back in that controversy when, there had to be a clear distinction between kids shows and adult shows. Otherwise, YouTube would just drop the hammer on you hard. And so I renamed those daily shows that weren't the regular scheduled stream nights. Those were 1-hour shows, and I called those the Night Terrors. So anyway, that's kind of a history, just so you know. Let's get this started off right. You are absolutely right, Josh. Great to see everybody coming in. Oh my God, dude. Josh, what did you win, the lottery or something? Jesus, dude. Unbelievable. The man gifted 20 memberships, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Man, I really appreciate that, but I also feel like, are you sure you can do that? I mean, please don't give till it hurts. I want you guys all to be okay first and foremost. If you can do memberships and do donations, that kind of thing, it's wonderful and it helps a ton. But I don't ever want you guys to put yourselves in a bad place to do that. So please don't. But thank you so much, Josh. But yeah, I mean, please be careful, all of you guys. I know it's fun to give and it feels good. I love doing it myself, but I don't want you guys to put yourselves in a bad place. So please be careful. But what do we got here? Who got it's going to take a while to read. Who got the free memberships? Again, courtesy of Josh Casto in our chat. Nocturnal Frequency Radio is now a member. Susie is a member. And Brian S. is a member. Jay Lee V is a member. Good to see you, Jay Lee. Thick Boy Freddy's up in here, and he's a member. As is Rome Like Kane. That's a cool name. Michelle is here. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Glad you're tuning in. Pocket Reality got one. Smokin' Joe got one. Samuel Lofton got one. Bernie Gannon, Lucid Curios. Aww. That's really cool. I think that's Lady Death. That's awesome. Blythe, how do I say this? Blythe Tredick. I think that's how you say it. Great to have you here as a member as well. Robert Iaco. Very cool to have you as a member. Gary Parajules, or Ruby Parajules. I'm sorry. I don't know how I got Gary in there. I don't know where the hell I picked up Gary. I think I had a mini stroke right then. Andrew Taint is in here. Nicholas Bravo. Good to see you, Nick. Great to have you here, brother. Nick Bravo is a blast from the past. He's been with the show since back in the Truth Frequency Radio days. So God bless you, Nick. Good to see you, brother. The God Index is also here. Princess Lion is here. Or Leon. I'm not sure if it's Lion or Leon, or I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm just trying to be a little too worldly here. A Little Twisted got a membership as well, so congratulations to all of you who got the memberships, and special thanks, Josh. And he says, no, I'm good, bro. No worries, Brent. Well, God bless you then. Thank you so much, Josh. That helps out a ton, and it really means the world to me. Thank you. Pay him back. Send him a topless selfie. That would be the wrong kind of payback, Batman. Nobody wants to see this without a shirt. I'm just saying. The more clothing on top of this is the better. Trust me, I see it. And just saying. There's a lot of scars underneath all of this. Honestly, I was kind of a science experiment when I was younger. So. But anyway, there you go. That is the new memberships. Thank you. Justin, Good Earth, Car Juice. I know Barbara's over there, as is Big D's over there. And who else? Who am I missing? Oh, HB Girl to You is over there as well. That's Lucky Gypsy. So great to see you guys over on Rumble as well. And hello to any of you over on Facebook watching the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. And those of you on Twitch, if you're over there, thanks for checking out the show. And so we're streaming on 5 platforms now again, and I already named them, but wherever you are, thank you so much for tuning in and giving the show a shot. At least we have volume, and the bandwidth looks perfect now, so that is wonderful. And I hope everything's going good on your end. Looks good on my end, I don't know. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of ladies' night over in the Rumble. We got 3 ladies over there and a couple of gentlemen. So that's wonderful. But anyway, we have a lot to get to. Sheldon will be joining us at some point when he gets into his man cave and can plug in. He's always coming right from his job, and so he runs a little later, which is fine, but we'll get to the news first of all, ladies and gentlemen. That's coming up in moments. And then we're going to hit an article that we're working through on last Wednesday. And Josh says, watch this. Watch what? What are we watching? Oh, what's going on? I don't even know what to expect here, guys. I know that our chat now is surprisingly green over on YouTube. That means green is members. Oh, what did you do? Phil Funk. Oh, thank you, Phil. Just became a member. Woo! Thank you, sir. It is all green. Autocorrect. All right, so there we go. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, right now for some news. So if you're not familiar with the Paranormal Portal news, I will tell you it's sometimes paranormal, sometimes it's just interesting, sometimes it's just bizarre and weird. Whatever tickles my fancy, really, is what we cover on the news. But hopefully it's a lot of fun, and hopefully you'll enjoy it if you're new to the show. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news. Here we go. I got to remember where the buttons are. Everything's on the different side now with the new setup, but here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk as we dive into all the Paranormal Portal news I could scrape together for you tonight. I left a premiere on my channel to join you. You left a premiere on your own channel to come over here, Jed? You are a saint, sir. I'm just saluting that. That's the kind of love that I just can't thank you enough for. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. He bails on his own channel to come over here. That's love, folks. That's some serious love. But it's good to see you, Jed Maxwell. Thanks for coming in, brother. So welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk again. This is where we dive into stories of things going on in the world around us. And some of it's paranormal, some of it's interesting, some of it's really bizarre, some of it's weird, some of it's hilarious. So not sure exactly what I got coming for you guys this time, but guys, that was my first cheer. I always get the wrong womp, womp, womp. Womp, womp. I'll throw one out there for you, Phil. No worries. You always get a cheer, brother. You always get a cheer. I'm always cheering you on. So throughout the course of the show, we utilize a lot of different sites, and I just want to implore you guys, please visit these sites. These sites are so well done. They are incredibly updated and current. And oh my God, Josh Casto just gave 5 subscriptions over on Rumble. My God, dude. I didn't even know you could do that. God bless you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That is really cool. So please visit these sites. Please give them your love, because putting on a site that gets moderate to heavy traffic is an incredibly expensive endeavor. So your visits equal revenue. It generates, impressions from ads that help to pay for the site's bandwidth. So please support them. Please give them your love and check them out. So we are going to get to the first articles. I got to find out where the hell's the window with the articles. Here we go. I started doing it through the other browser because I just don't want to get all the ads and all the laggy crap that comes with it. So we started, I use the Brave browser, ladies and gentlemen. If you're ever looking for a browser that cancels a lot of the ads that go on and stuff, I really recommend Brave. And that's kind of counterproductive, but I do a show, and I don't want to be battling ads in order to give you guys an article. I mean, I encourage you, if you're not doing a show, get the ads, because it does help support these sites. But if you're ever looking at doing something with an article that you need it not to be interrupted by ads or anything, where in the hell is my mouse? I don't even know where it went. There it is. You can check out the Brave browser. I think it's a great browser. So I use Brave. Linda says, got it. Good choice. Hi, Mickey G. Good to see you. I came in. Good to see you as well. T-Bone's here. Good to have you all here. Thank you, guys. Weirdos unite. All right, so the first article we're going to cover tonight is this one. This is a brand new one. I don't even know what to think of this. Maybe there's an answer here. I don't know, but there's apparently a creepy creature that was caught on camera in Pueblo, Colorado, and it hisses. I think we'll probably check out the video itself as well. This is a video article, so let's do that. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first article tonight from unexplained-mysteries.com. And I don't know if this is the actual video or not, but let's read the article and then we'll check out the video. An unidentified animal that was captured on camera has left local residents and wildlife officials searching for answers. The creature was sighted over 2 nights along Pueblo's Mohawk Road by a local resident who managed to record a short clip of it using her mobile phone. The video shows a small 4-legged animal with a reddish-pink face. I don't know what the hell that could be. Witness Janae, who also claimed that the creature had hissed at her when she approached. I mean, a lot of things will hiss at you. I've been hissed at by raccoons, by possum, by wild feral cats, so lots of things in nature hiss, and snakes. I've been hissed at it by snakes a lot. When the footage started circulating on social media, a local news station picked up the story, and before long, there was a great deal of interest in determining what the animal could be. Even Colorado Parks and Wildlife ended up getting involved in the debate. We think this animal might be a raccoon with mange. Is that like the standard answer? Is that like swamp gas on Uranus or whatever for UFOs? Like the rubber stamp answer, like, that's just swamp gas. That's what you're seeing. And like everything is an animal with mange that they can't explain. So that's like the big fallback, isn't it? That's just my take. But anyway, let's see what is going on. It says it's tough to be 100% sure, but the use of the front paws and the size makes us think it's a raccoon. Locals have since been advised to call the service if they happen to see the animal again. Well, that is the article. So I think we ought to do it. It looks like it's coming courtesy of KKTV 11 News from Southern Colorado. I'll try to blow it up and see how it works. Blown up. I don't know if I should use that word, but I'm just talking about enlarging the damn video. So just to clear up any confusion.
I've been teasing them all night about this.
Let's see it.
So we have something spooky and creepy to show you.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Can we pull it up? I've been bracing myself all night. Oh, what is that?
What do we think this is?
Where was this?
Okay, let me tell you all the fun little details of this terrifying creature.
It looks.
Okay, so
What
this
the
was
hell,
all
huh?
caught
Gonna
on
be a
video.
ghost.
This was in Pueblo.
No.
This
Okay, well, rather than listen to those girls cackling and laughing and stuff, I don't know. I guess it could be raccoonish. I mean, it kind of has the posture and they're right. The use of the hands does look very raccoonish, but I don't know. It's very strange. It does seem to have some pretty distinct color variations with the lighter color on the legs and a darker color on the back. I don't know if that's just a trick of the lighting or what we're seeing here for sure. That could just be how it's being illuminated by the night, around the lights around it. But what's going on in that ear? You guys seeing that? Something in that ear right there. Let me just pause this, clear this off. I can't blow it up really though, can I? Is there a better close-up? Maybe this one. But there's something in that ear as well that kind of seems to be providing light. Let's see. Or a reflection at any rate. Something is going on with that ear, right? Because there's an eye, but then there's that light coming from what looks like the ear. And I don't know what that would be, if it's somehow tagged. I mean, is it possible that it's a test animal that escaped from some lab? You know, that kind of thing. And what is that on its back, too? Look on its back when it lowers its head. There's also something seemingly reflective there, or at least wet and reflecting the light or diffracting it. So, yeah, I don't know. But doesn't it? I mean, you're seeing this, right? There's definitely something coming from the ear area that is reflecting light. And then there's, when it lowers its head, there's something on the back as well. So, I don't know. Could be a raccoon, but could it also be a test animal that somehow got out? I'm just saying, I don't know. It does look raccoonish, and it doesn't look like we got anything else in this whole clip other than them having a giggle fest about the cute little furry animal. Hold on, I gotta move my stuff so I can see better. So I don't know what you think of that, guys, but I don't know. I almost wager that it's, you know, you hear about some of the sick testing that's done on animals and some of the most horrible stuff, like, you know, and I'm not going to get directly into it, but, you know, allowing things to, you know, like bugs to feast on animals that are in a position where they're helpless and they can only just be tormented by, you know, in pain and harm. And it's just, there's no soul attached to it. It's just cold as hell. And maybe it's something like that where it's like, oh, I finally got free. I'm out of here. And it got out. I don't know. But that the reflection in the ear is suspect to me. It doesn't seem to move. So it does seem to look like some kind of ear tag. Looks like a possum to me. Karen says, yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. Oh, did you hear what I did there? It's not impossible. Sorry. But it could be. I mean, possums certainly are. They kind of look mangy, even though they're not. They just have a different, almost large rat appearance. Obviously, most of us know what possum look like. Could be. It does seem to have a pinkness to the face, which may match that. I don't know. And I'm not saying it has to be a tagged ear, but that to me is questionable. Like, what is it in that ear that is, you know, reflecting some light? And the first thing that came to my mind was tagging. And then something on the back, maybe a collar, maybe some other identifier that's on the back of the animal. And if it's a test subject, they'd probably be tagged in multiple ways. So I don't know. I'm making this a conspiracy theory, but it doesn't look like any terrestrial animal that is supposed to look like to me. But you be the judge. You're changing your answer to possum, Rachel. You could be right. You both could be right. I'm not a tree hugger, but I donate to PETA. Some of the animal testing they do is diabolical. You're absolutely right, Spiraling 69. Nice to meet you, too, by the way. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. But, yeah, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. I don't know how anybody that has a soul could just work there and watch that going on and go, oh, yeah, this is for science. It's like, no. You're a twisted bastard and you need to re-examine your life. So you might want to check the floor around you because somewhere you dropped a soul. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do with it. But at any rate, that's the first article. I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I'm trying to figure out the other camera. News text. I'm just looking. Article screen, main mic, zoom camera. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, I can turn that off until Mr. Sheldon makes it, if and when he gets here. God bless. Hopefully he gets here soon. But here we go. That's the first article, and don't worry, there's many more. I think we'll do a couple more anyway. I don't know. This is another footage, allegedly some footage, and it looks like it's coming from Jeremy Corbell, I think. Is that who this is? Let me just scan this quick. Jeremy Corbell is pictured on the beginning of the video. That's going to be part of this article. So let's check this out. It has to do with from unexplained-mysteries.com. New U.S. Navy footage shows Tic Tac UFOs emerging from the ocean. They're still out there, folks. Nothing's changed, I guess. Look at that ship, though. What the hell? Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's like the new ships. Oof. That's bizarre. All right, compelling new footage has been released showing more examples of Tic Tac shaped UAPs. I'm going to blow this up because it's freaking tiny.
Whoa.
Oh, it's Mr. Sheldon Thomas. Good to have you here, buddy.
Hello. Good to be here on a wonderful Friday night.
Well, let me get you on screen here now because you're here. Oh, I can see the northern lights. I can't see you at all. Where the hell are you?
I think those are the newer. Oh, whoopsie. Yeah, there we go.
There you are.
I think those are one of the newer Navy ships that are run on nuclear power.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I think it
might be.
Pretty much everything they float out there now has got probably some kind of reactor. Yeah, there we go. Now you're on screen. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Good to be here. How's everybody doing?
They said good.
Awesome.
How many Yakults is too many Yakults? Isn't that those yogurt drinks, Jed? Those things are good. Those things are way too good. There's a lot of waste for a little bit of yogurt drink, but you know.
Yakults?
Yeah, they're like these little. There's these little tiny things you'll find in the yogurt section, and they have like this foil cap on them, and you just peel the foil cap, and they're these little plastic.
Plastic jars. That was those. I mean, it was a different brand, I believe, but those were dangerous for us back in the day. I remember.
Well, I'm just saying, I love them. They're delicious, but they're.
Oh, they were.
But it's
great.
like they're like 90% plastic and like 10% actual product. Thank you for this new batch of garbage.
Just a few gulps and it's gone. Yeah.
Don't forget to recycle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you gotta. Otherwise, the world would be full of Yakult containers.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Compelling new footage has been released showing more examples of Tic Tac shaped UAPs. The video, which is being hailed as perhaps the most significant new UFO footage since the release from the original U.S. Navy videos back in 2017, shows 2 of 4 Tic Tac UFOs that were observed emerging from the ocean and flying off at supersonic speeds. Ooh. Oh. The clip was recorded from the USS Jackson back in February 15th, 2023, and obtained by journalist George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, hosts of the Weaponized podcast. I didn't know they had a podcast, but it's called Weaponized. There you go.
Wow.
During the episode, they spoke to a CIC operator who'd been present at the time, all in synchronous jetting into the abyss. What does that mean? All in synchronous jetting into the abyss, he said. All 4 all timed together and all left. And we were like, holy bleep. The second they left, maybe 3 or 4 seconds pass, I run to the station and I look at my radar and they're all off radar. That's it. They all zoomed off. But it's clear that they're in communication with one another and synchronized, like 3, 2, 1, countdown, let's all go. I think unless there's some level of like one entity controlling all 4 and then they all leave at the same time. The crew even tracked the objects using a specialized heat sensor and discovered that they hadn't left any heat trails of any kind, as would be expected of traditional propulsion systems. I don't think it's ours, said former Defense Department analyst Merrick von Rennenkampf. I suspect there are better places for us to showcase that kind of equipment to unwitting sailors. That just doesn't make sense. You can view the footage for yourself in the news report below. This is coming from News Nation, folks. Pretty big channel. 2.1 million subscribers, but let's check it out there. That's Jeremy Corbell there, so let's see what this says. Want to hear it? Here you go.
Transparency breeds trust.
That's Chris Cuomo. He used to be on CNN.
New boss, same as the old boss.
Okay, it's
at supersonic speeds. Right now is the footage and what Corbell believes to be.
I don't want to hear a whole bunch of Chris Cuomo. I want to see the footage, and I want to hear him explaining about it. Here we go.
That we get great sensor data on something that is truly anomalous, and that's what we're seeing here, backed up, of course, by the eyewitness testimony. This ship is one of the most technologically equipped ships, but additionally, this is a senior ranking Navy official who I believe will end up coming forward. They saw these craft coming out of the water, at least one of them coming out of the water. That's transmedium. This is in the Combat Information Center. Also, they saw 4 of them in total. They saw them on radar, then they picked them up in thermal. That's why it looks black and white. But if you look at a plane through that system, you see wings, a tail, exhaust, rotors, all sorts of heat signatures. You're not seeing that here. So again, it was tracked on radar, tracked on thermal. There was a kind of a synchronized, coordinated, instantaneous departure described to me and George Knapp by the firsthand witnesses. This is really reminiscent of the 2004 Tic Tac UFO where Commander
Interesting. And I don't want to showcase the whole clip. I will copy the link so you guys can check out that whole clip for yourselves. It's very interesting. I mean, again, I think the way that their thermal is set up is the black would be hot. Usually, I mean, it can be either way. Black can be hot, white could be cold, or white can be hot and black can be cold if it's set that way. But anyway, the link to this article from Unexplained-Mysteries is now in the chats. It's coming over on Rumble. And there it is. So if you guys want to check out the actual interview and in its length, this clip at least, is 4 minutes, 23 seconds. I mean, I think Jeremy Corbell is great, and I think he's a fascinating figure, as is George Knapp. But, check it out, and if any of you find more information, let me know if there's better footage out there somewhere of this event. I don't see them coming out of the water on this clip. I was just scanning the clip as we were watching it, and I don't see any moment that is, oh, there they are, they came out of the water. But it must be a part of the full thing and something that they'll probably feature on their podcast, if not in a news interview of that. So,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, very interesting, though. What do you think?
It kind of, gives more credence
sure.
to the theory that there's an underwater base type of thing, possibly.
It does. I think, I believe these guys are here, these beings, and whatever they are. And maybe they've always been here. But I think that they also keep themselves in places where we're not. Like they want to avoid us. And maybe they can hide right in front of us. Like with my sighting, it was not something I could have observed with my naked eye. I just happened to have night vision binoculars. Yeah. So I could see the craft. But when I looked with my naked eye, it wasn't there than it was with the binoculars. But I think that they probably do utilize the deep ocean because we're just not there. That's not somewhere that we're likely to ever stumble into them. It's mostly, it's largely impossible, not completely, but largely impossible for us to even get down there with unmanned stuff. I mean, there's a few that apparently can go all the way down to the bottom of the bottom, but they're not everywhere. So I guess they could avoid people's presence pretty easily, and I think that they do that.
I actually didn't know we had the ability to go to the bottom of the bottom. I thought we could only.
Yeah, I think
go so far.
I think that's what I think I ran into that information somewhat recently, and I don't remember what it said exactly, but at least a claim was made that we can actually get down there now. We can actually send submersibles down there, but nothing manned. I don't think. I mean, they can take man stuff really low too. Michael Bloomfield over on Facebook says, Michael Bloomfield shared to American Ghost Stories us. Please feel free to post all your events. Oh, nice share. Nice work in the angles there, Michael. He just milked his whole show on my show.
Oh no.
That's a classy thing. Nah, it's okay.
Wow.
If it's important to you, Michael, that's fine. I'm happy you're here, and thanks for watching the show. I dive deepest I've heard is 230 feet, and that is pushing boundaries. What? Oh, you dive? I'm not talking about like people diving, free diving, or even with gear. I'm talking about in underwater vehicles of some kind, and even submersibles that are unmanned. I think it's very hard. I mean, obviously there's that ill-fated trip to go check out the Titanic, and that wasn't in what's considered truly deep water. I mean, it's deep water, but not like the Laurentian Abyss or anywhere else that's incredibly deep and impossible, nearly impossible to get to. But at any rate, rather.
Weights. Wow, another fat joke. There we go.
I'm hunting rabbits. What do you mean? Oh, I see what you did there, you little dick. You just can't help yourself.
Oh, it's just funny.
You're just polluting my image. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. So it's a good article. I think it's worth checking that out. And I'm sure there'll be more forthcoming from this. I didn't even know this footage was put out there from 2023. I hadn't even heard of it. So this is brand new to me personally. Not that I've got my finger on the nerve center of everything paranormal, but I try to be cognizant.
Unless this was captured in 2023 and it's recently released.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like it was
okay.
The event was from 2023, but it's just apparently just come out, and cool. I mean, more power to them. I appreciate them doing that and showcasing this stuff, putting it out there so we can learn about it. But at any rate, that's the second news article, and there's more. There's always more, Sheldon.
Always, that's right.
I didn't want to do this one. I didn't think. Did I? I don't want to do that one. Maybe tomorrow night. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, I wanted to do this other one first. Well, everybody's heard about these new dire wolves, right? Did you hear about this, Sheldon?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So they've basically cloned an extinct species known as the dire wolf, and apparently there's 3 individuals that have been cloned so far: Remus, Romulus, and then there's a third. I think it might be a female, but it's pretty kind of came out of nowhere as far as I knew. Like, I didn't know this was coming. I knew that there were efforts to bring back the mammoth. I know that had been going on for quite a while with several different entities, companies trying to crack that. But apparently this company got a hold of some genome, like complete genome apparently, from I guess some glacial melt off somewhere. And I don't even know for sure where, but the point is that they recovered the DNA, and apparently they set upon reintroducing the dire wolf in a very controlled situation. So I'm not so sure that, Michael, are you just going to milk your stuff on my channel all night over on Facebook? Dude, seriously.
Yeah.
Have a little tact, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not in good taste. Yeah.
It's like, how long do you think they'd let you run around McDonald's and put Taco Bell flyers on the table? I mean, how long do you think that would happen?
True.
To be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you take it outside there? So appreciate your enthusiasm, Michael. But yeah, that's good now. It's enough milk in your stuff here.
Yeah,
I mean, at least ask me before, like, hey, do you mind? I'll probably be like, yeah, go ahead. At least yes, but don't come in here and throw your flyers all over the table. I mean, that's just so classy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I just, it's one of those things that's like, oh, hey, uppercut. What? It's like, nice. So anyway, this article came out. There's some controversy about these direwolf pups and whether or not there might be the real thing or not. Now, I did have another article pulled up for several days that was going over the whole, the whole idea that these wolves were brought back. And I think it's cool. It's exciting. It's interesting. There's also plenty of people that believe they've never been extinct. They've still been out there. And maybe that's possible. I don't know. They're apparently like 30% bigger than a gray wolf, which is apparently what they use for the maternal mother to incubate these eggs into little puppies. So, or pups, or whatever you call a baby wolf. I don't know. Anyway, let's check this one out. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com, and let's check it out. Are these resurrected direwolves the real deal or simply lookalikes? And that's the other part of it, because they were gestated in a gray wolf. So did they utilize some of the gray wolf DNA, or did they use complete genome structure of the direwolf? Thank you, Mercedes. She shared. I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
That's true. I mean, that's what they even explained in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, they had to use frog or like amphibian DNA. Yeah, to patch some of the holes in the codes.
Yep.
But anyway, okay. Scientists recently. Oh man, how long is this? Good God, this is a long one, but I think it's worth reading. So you guys don't mind? I want to cover this whole article because I think it's interesting. Scientists recently claimed to have resurrected the extinct dire wolf, but are the pups really dire wolves at all? From dire wolves to woolly mammoths, the idea of resurrecting extinct species has captured the public imagination. Colossal biosciences, does that not sound like they would start at Jurassic Park? I mean, seriously, that's exactly what I would think would start Jurassic Park. Yeah. The Dallas-based biotech company leading the charge has made headlines for ambitious efforts to bring back long-lost animals using cutting-edge genetic engineering. It recently announced the birth of pups with key traits of direwolves. See that it says, the birth of pups with key traits of direwolves. An iconic predator last seen roaming North America more than 10,000 years ago. And this followed on the heels of earlier projected announcements focused on the woolly mammoth and the thylacine. This all fuels a sense of de-extinction is not only possible, but imminent. But as the sciences advance, the deeper question lingers. How close must the result be to count as a true return? If we can only recover fragments of an extinct creature's genome and must build the rest from modern substitutes, is that really de-extinction? Or are we simply creating lookalikes? To the public, de-extinction often evokes images of Jurassic Park, style resurrection, a recreation of a lost animal reborn into the modern world. In scientific circles, however, the term encompasses a variety of techniques, selective breeding, cloning, and increasingly synthetic biology, through which genome editing, synthetic biology, is a field that invokes redesigning systems found in nature. Well, that's a little terrifying all in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Scientists have often used selective breeding of modern cattle in attempts to recreate an animal that resembles the auroch, a wild ancestor of today's breeds. Cloning has been used to briefly bring back Pyrenean ibex, which went extinct in 2000. In 2003, a Spanish team brought a cloned calf to term, but the animal died a few minutes after birth. It's often cited as the first example of de-extinction. However, the only preserved tissue was from one female animal, meaning it could not have been used to bring back a viable population. Colossal's work falls into the synthetic biology category. These approaches differ in method but share a common goal to restore a species that has been lost. In most cases, what emerges is not an exact genetic copy of the extinct species, but a proxy, a modern organism engineered to resemble its ancestor in function or appearance. Take the case of the woolly mammoth. Colossal's project aims to create a cold-adapted Asian elephants that can fulfill the animal's former ecological role, but mammoths and Asian elephants diverged hundreds of thousands of years ago and differ by an estimated 1.5 million genetic variants. Editing all of these is, for now, impossible. Instead, the scientists are targeting a few dozen genes linked to key traits like cold resistance, fat storage, and hair growth. Compare that to humans and chimpanzees. Despite a genetic similarity of around 98.8%, the behavioral and physical differences between the two are huge. If comparatively small genetic gaps can produce such major differences, what can we expect when editing only a tiny fraction of the differences between the two species? It's a useful rule of thumb when assessing recent claims. As discussed in a previous article, Colossal's direwolf project involved just 20 genetic edits, and these were introduced into the genome of a gray wolf to mimic key traits of the extinct direwolf. The resulting animals may look the part, but with so few changes, they're genetically much closer to modern wolves than their prehistoric namesake. Okay, well, there's more here, but I will link this article as well. Feel free to check it out at your leisure. But it is kind of concerning, right?
I mean, it depends how far it goes.
Oh, okay. So let's say, Sheldon, it was possible tomorrow to bring back dinosaurs. What would you vote for? I'm just curious.
No.
You'd vote no?
No.
Really? Okay.
There's been a series of movies based upon that premise. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know we'd be smarter than what they showed there, but it depends on the dinosaur. For me, honestly, it depends.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be pretty amazing to just be able to go someplace and walk, near from a safe vantage point, near to like a Diplodocus or a Brachiosaurus or something like that, and just go, oh my God. And we thought elephants were big. That kind of thing would be really incredible to take just a look kind of back in time. I'd be kind of for it, honestly. I don't know why.
It depends. Stupid. I mean, look, the child in me would absolutely love to see a T-Rex.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But there's so much we don't know about them.
Oh,
there's
well, yeah, we don't know anything.
Much.
We only know that they had left bones and dirt. That's all we really know, and that they probably ate stuff. But apparently the true T-Rexes were probably at least 30% bigger than what we found. Like, they were actually 30% bigger than that or more.
Well, that's true, because all we found is 1% is like the amount of species that have been fossilized. There were so many species we have no idea about and may never know about.
Yeah.
Because of how rare it is to fossilize like that.
Yeah. Well, the unknown says, I'm a T-Rex, run. So there you go. Stay away from the unknown if you're, unless you got a big chunk of meat to throw at them first. Probably be fine.
I mean, the thing is, too, as far as I understand, dinosaurs could not live like in our environment today. There was a lot more oxygen in the air back then. I think it's like double what it is now, and they literally would die unless we edited their DNA.
True. Yeah. Maybe we can edit them to be less. Well, we probably have to edit them to be a smaller species. Actually, I don't know.
Yes, that's kind of the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, pretty soon we'll have like lap horses and stuff like that. It's really my pretty pony. Becky, get out here and pick up after your pony.
I like Ike's. I bring back a pterodactyl.
Ooh, I don't know. Those are kind of frightening. Well, they might already be here though, because people still claim sightings of pterodactyls and
the light. Oh, what do they call it? What are they called in the stories? The Thunderbirds.
Well, there are Thunderbirds. Yeah, those are not really the same thing. Like, people that see pterodactyl says it's a pterodactyl. That's what I saw. Like, from the movies, the pterodactyl. That's what I saw. It was huge. And then there are people that have seen these gigantic birds. I mean, just like huge, enormous crow or raptor-looking things. So I don't know that they're one and the same, or maybe they are. I don't know. I've not seen any of that. I have seen just in where we lived in Wakuta. One of the last times I was there, I was with my brother Jeff, and he I mean, this was probably 4 years ago or better, But we were outside, and he's like, "Oh my God, look at the size of that eagle!" And I looked over, and there was one bald eagle, and bald eagles are big birds, but there was one that was like double the size of all the other ones. It was, but I guess why wouldn't eagles potentially have a possibility of producing a larger than normal specimen?
Yeah,
It
there's
happens to
plenty of those in the
humans,
world, yeah.
right?
Happens to dogs, happens to humans,
Yeah.
happens to every species that we know of. That, oh, this is the new big one.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a big one breaking records somewhere. You know,
Sure, yeah,
give
yeah.
enough time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the biggest Maine Coon cats. I mean, that's some of those Maine Coon cats are enormous. They're
Yes.
they're like the size of German shepherds nearly. It's like whoa. Yep. But anyway, I put the links to the rest of this article in the chat. If you guys want to check it out, please feel free to do that. I think it's interesting. I don't know. The unknown
Very.
says he's not a normal specimen. We already knew that, dude. You're our favorite abnormal specimen. All right. That was an attempt at a homer, but it kind of missed it. Kind of missed it at the end there. I'm a little congested. So
Oh no. Oh, you getting sick?
no, I'm taking the zinc. I'm fine. It's just
Okay.
I think it's spring air.
Ah, the allergies. Yep.
Yep. Lots of them, but not too bad. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for the news for tonight. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we broadcast these shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. These live streams, tomorrow, Tex should be joining me as we dive into Saturday's show. But yeah, we'll do more news then. But we got a lot more show to do tonight. Sheldon, are you ready?
Always ready.
Always ready, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from the man. Let's make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. Back to the rest of the show. You do. I'll have to look at that. That's like the least of my concerns at this point, honestly. It's like, okay, so Sheldon, you may not know this, but on Wednesday I debuted the new system and the new setup.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This is all brand new. And just to give you a better look, this is well, I guess this looks all the same, but I did post some images on Facebook to show people. What the hell is that? Oh, that's the wrong screen.
Whoa, there you go. Yep.
But I did post some images of the desk and the layout and how it's changed and stuff. But I did all of the setup for days, and I was working on it, testing, retesting. I thought I was just being really thorough. And then I went live, and this is what people saw.
Waiting for delay.
They couldn't hear me.
Oh,
I forgot to set up the microphones through my production software, and so
oh my God. I was waiting for it. I'm like, why is it so silent?
yes, that's why. I rolled a colossal turd on my debut show with the new setup and system. But the good news is, however, that the new system is not at all laggy. It did conquer the problems that I was having. However, we did have internet lag tonight when the show first started. Could be my ISP, could be something going on with cyber attacks from all over the world. Who knows? There's a lot of all that crap going on right now. So, but it straightened out. We're good. So that was my debut of the new system. So I'm just glad people can hear and see and experience the show finally in all of its glory. You love it. You know what I forgot to do though? I forgot to turn on the ghost radar. Should turn it on.
I was wondering. It looks non-active.
That's exactly what it looks like. Let me get this started here. April 11, 2025. Can you believe it's already April?
No, no, I can't. I can't even believe I'm 30. You know,
I can't believe you are either.
time just moves. God, when I was younger, you were not kidding.
I told you.
God, you said like, man, I just blink and I'm 40. It's
Yeah,
like,
I told you.
I didn't understand, but now it's like, yeah, I blink and I'm 30.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just 24. You know?
Yeah, I know. It feels like you just got out of high school.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. It doesn't
Clearly-
feel like that much time has passed.
I know, but it has. That's the time anomaly of life. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know if it's an actual time anomaly or not, but I'm telling you, it feels like a real time anomaly. Like when you were a kid, like a weekend lasted forever. Like,
Yes.
you could just drag it out and enjoy every second of it. But now it's like the same amount of time is like a year. It's like, wait, no, that went too quick. Where did that go? What do you mean what do you mean it's 10 days till Christmas?
Yeah, summer vacation back in school felt like 10 years.
Yeah, no, not anymore. It feels like 5 minutes. So anyway, enough of us whining about our aging life. Our aging
Says, oh,
frames.
wait, Sheldon, it gets worse. I don't want it to.
Chucky's bringing sunshine up to the table. Chucky's right though. I'm well past 30 and it goes faster. Yeah, yeah. I think
I'm guessing 30 feels like a blink too.
it's like I'll wake up tomorrow. What does this say? Upgrade today. I don't need to upgrade.
No.
It's asking me to upgrade my Zoom, but I already pay for the damn thing, so.
Oh.
Oh, it says set up professional audio in audio settings. It's like it heard you, Sheldon.
Oh.
That's funny. Huh. We'll have to look at that after the show.
Okay.
While you're still with me. Good evening, Mr. Jason Finch. Sorry, there's still some bugs in the system, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a perfect science. The Paranormal Portal is largely a one-man show. I'm like the guy that you see on the street corner who's got like strings on him, and he's got like drums and a horn and a accordion in his armpit and stuff like that. A harmonica right in front of his face, and he's singing at the same time. That's me doing the show here. That's exactly the metaphor for what it's like in this desk. But I love it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. But it is kind of unforgiving. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to an article that was sent to me by Rachel Gets It Right. And this is one we started on Wednesday, once the sound did get working. And we'll get to that right now. And this is from didyouknowfacts.com. And the article is called Night Shift Workers Share Their Personal Tales of Paranormal Activity. These are always good, and they're generally a little short, yeah. But some of these are actually longer than a lot of the Reddit scrape articles, and I'm not sure what the source of these stories is. It doesn't attribute it to where they got the stories that I know of, but maybe they did, and I missed that. But it's been a fun article, and thank you again, Rachel, for pulling this up and getting it to me. It helps me out. If you guys, in fact, if any of you are ever out on the web and you see a cool article about the paranormal stuff, send it to me. I'd appreciate it. Just send it to paranormalportalradio.com, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Yeah, that's it. Paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'll be happy to, share your article or an article that you found on the show. All right, this is the first article we're going to cover tonight. Let's see, we're on number 6, but let me go to the top and try to give the right attribution for this. So this is written by Matt Gilligan on August 23rd, 2020. So it's a 5-year-old, well, four years and months article, but still, the stuff is always evergreen. All right, here it is. This is called What a Story. And that's the article we're going to get to now, the story. What a story. Here we go. I'm in law enforcement, and me and my partner got sent to a call for an alarm activation. Well, no big deal, but this is not one of our usual alarms. It's a new one we've never been to before, and it takes us longer than normal to actually find the house because it's way back off the road and no lights are on. Well, we find the place, and it's super creepy. Spiders and webs everywhere. Nothing outside the house like a trash can or knickknacks. And we split up, per the usual, to check the outside for open doors or windows. And I go one way, and he goes the other. The house is 2 stories, and I get this sort of garage carport looking thing, along with a lock shop of some sort on the first floor. Nothing weird seen or heard, and partner still making his way around to me from where we started. Well, I find the stairs to the second floor and just decide to head up. I wind up on a giant covered porch attached to the house, and it's huge. Literally the size of the carport below, with about 4 sets of wicker outdoor furniture. I'm looking around and I don't see anything super weird. Partner finally gets to me upstairs, and we talk about the weird layout for a minute. And during this time, I feel slightly unsettled, but I'm really unsure why. I start looking a little closer through the sliding glass doors at the front of the house, and partner tells me everything's locked up from his side, and there's even vines growing over some windows and doors. Well, I start noticing little things in the living room. The carpet looks like it's from about 1962. There's no TV, no electronics in general. Very 60s layout. And I thought all of that was weird, but I've seen weirder on this job. And I then asked dispatch what the alarm activation was, and I get told attic exit. Super weird and very specific, but okay. So we start looking around best we can in the living room. There's no attic. And then it occurs to me, what if it's outside in this giant covered porch? I look up, sure enough, directly above me is an attic. I can even see the alarm sensor boxes on it. I look at my partner and tell him, I'm not going up. We suggest we rock, paper, scissors for it. I'm an idiot and agree, and I lose. So I'm going up in the attic, and at this point, we've made jokes about how weird all of this is, and I'm slightly unsettled, but haven't said anything. And I've literally never seen an attic outside that has alarms. Also, who leaves their house looks like the 60s. Okay. I guess they just have a real retro decorating scheme. I reluctantly pull my gun out and start climbing the ladder. I should mention, I'm chubby. Attics and ladders are not my friends. I stick my head up just far enough to see there are no people and not a lot of stuff going on up there. And it smells really weird. It smells like old people have been living up there for 20 years, like dead old people. Not actual dead body, thankfully, but the smell of old people has dried up there. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, dead old people, but not actually dead bodies? Is it like just going into an old house and kind of smelling like, oh yeah, someone older must have lived here? That kind of smell? I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah.
I quickly come back down with nothing but the weird smell to report, and I shrug it off as we go to leave. Partner pulls up next to me, jokingly saying, we're looking at this all the wrong way. We weren't looking for someone getting into the attic. We should have been looking for something getting out. And we both laugh it off as a weird call, weird job, and drive off. And as we drive back to our hiding spot a mile or so away, me in front of him in separate cars, I see what looks like a person standing in the roadway out of the corner of my eye. It looked like a black female wearing dark clothing, holding a light-colored bag, though I only saw the person for a split second. I'm not 100% sure of what I saw, so I wait and see if the partner says anything about it, and a few seconds after I pass whatever I saw, partner calls out over the radio that he and I are getting out with a person in the roadway at a given intersection. Well, I turn around with him, and this all happens within probably 20 seconds. We turn around and can't find the person. Person vanished completely. We described the person to each other, both definitely saw it, and saw the same thing. No idea where this person or thing went. It was less than a half mile from the creepy house. So we're both pretty sure we're haunted now, thanks to work. We've had one more instance of weird, unexplainable happenings at work. We attribute it to our ghosts, so that's the story of how I became haunted and ran into a ghost that I accidentally released. Wow. There you go. Yeah, very strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that story. Like, I always try to have an angle to talk about what we just read, but that's pretty cut and dried, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything, Sheldon?
I'm on the same page.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been. I mean, the person was dressed in dark clothes anyway, so
Sure.
it wouldn't be hard to hide. You know, I mean, as a kid living out in the country, whenever cars came, I made it a habit to always hide from cars and just see if they could see me. It was like one of the only things I had to do to entertain myself out in the woods. And I think I remained hidden. Nobody ever said, "Hey, what you doing over there?" So I don't know. Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's Taco saying not as YP there as Brent, but we're good. I love Brent. He's awesome. That was a joke, Brent. Don't punch me. What is YP? I don't know what that means.
I don't even recognize that.
I don't know what that means, Taco. But, whoa, did I lose you? Are you kidding me? I might have lost Sheldon. Looks like my Zoom doesn't know that it's paid for. That's stupid. All right, I'm going to have to email Sheldon another link quick, folks. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I pay the subscription for the damn thing. So, Sheldon, if you're there, just hang on a sec. Try to figure out what the hell's going on. I guess that's what the warning was. Sheldon, are you there? No, he's not. My Zoom actually told me no. So that's weird. Why isn't that picking up my subscription, though? That's a frustrating thing for sure. Just bear with me, folks. This is one of those things that I didn't anticipate, but it's the glory of a new computer. Where does it go? Where do I do it? Home. I already did upgrade it. Oh, yeah, I don't like this much. Sorry about this, folks. It's not giving me a whole lot to work with here. How do I register this or make it know that it's paid for? Damn it. Team chats. All right, let me, I guess I'll just recreate it. I'll just close it and recreate it and see if we can milk it for another hour. Trying to get Sheldon here with us. I wonder if Zoom changed their terms. Anybody know? Anybody know if Zoom is just screwing the pooch here? Maybe that's not the right way to say it, but I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get more money out of people. So, oh yeah, you got the 45-minute subscription plan, but if you want to have 2 hours, you got to pay more. Oh, I can't even start the next one till I did upgrade. Let me try clicking upgrade here and see what happens, folks. Hold on while I change camera views here, because I'm not sure what I got to do to make this happen. I already do this. I'm already paying you guys. How do I do this? I don't need to check out. I need to check in. All right, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So I guess we lost Sheldon. Sorry, Sheldon. It won't let me do another one. Yeah, I don't care how you bill it, but I just need you to I don't need you to bill it. I need you to recognize that I already paid the bill. Interesting. All right, I'll have to work on this. I'll have to work on this tomorrow, actually. So I can't do it right now. There's really nothing I can do. I think this is right, though. Don't you love technology? Don't you love how hard they make everything? It's like, really? There should be some easy way to do this, right? Let me just check this quick, if you don't mind. If you guys don't mind standing by for just a sec. Yeah, it's not on this, is it? Let me do this. Let me go to Oh, that's why I'm on. Let me do this. Which browser is this? No, I'm on the wrong browser. That's why. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me see. I got to see if I can get this dealt with quick. If I can, that'll be great. So, just until I get this sorted out, folks, just talk quietly amongst yourselves. If you would, please. I don't even know what this is. Yeah, this is this. Okay, that's the way it should be. Very weird. Sheldon's actually calling me now. Hey, I got disconnected. I know. All right, let's see. I'll put him on. Hello, Sheldon. How are you?
I'm not letting you know I got disconnected. I'm wondering if maybe Zoom, some programs don't want you family sharing and all that, so they only have you register with one computer.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if that Zoom that's registered is on your old computer, and this new one you have to kind of switch it up type of thing.
Probably. It's something that's probably going to be stupidly complicated, but I'm just seeing if I can sort it out here. But
Rachel said that she sent a link about Zoom in chat. Let me look at it.
Okay, just a sec. Zoom communications.
It says 404 page cannot be found. Okay.
Zoom video meetings. Let's see if I can just go to this and can log in, sign in. Here we go. It should be like, I pay a subscription for this, obviously. I don't remember which email for sure, but maybe it's the Paranormal Portal. Paranormal Portal. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to do this on the air, but I just got to try to sort this out if I can. Let's see if I'm right.
Yes.
Incorrect email. Maybe it's just the regular one. Let's try that first. Thank God I can type. Makes it a little quicker. No, that's not right either. Well, it's being a pain in the ass. I'll have to look into this, ladies and gentlemen. Unless I got the wrong password. That could be too. Let me try just a different version of my password. Try this one. Just to see. Nope. Not that one. So let's go to this. I'm going to try one more variation. If this doesn't work, Sheldon, I guess you got the rest of the night off.
Well, geez.
Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, folks, I can't bring Sheldon back, but I'll get it figured out for tomorrow's show with Mr. Tex because, God, I can try to convert vector HD resizing. Oh, you're talking about graphics. Yeah, I want some stickers, Taco. I want more bumper stickers. You got to let me know. All right. Well, thank you, Sheldon, for being a part of it. I mean, there's 45 minutes left, so we'll just carry on. But love you, buddy. Thank you for coming on tonight.
No problem. By the way, tell Rachel that the link sends me to a 404 error page. I can't open it for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I put the voice up to the microphone, so I'm sure she heard you.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, just to speak to everyone for a second, love you all, and shine your light. Be safe out there, and have a good night, everyone, and have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Love you.
Love you too. We'll see you. Okay. Well, that is an unfortunate side effect of new setup. Sheldon has been exiled. I didn't exile him, but he did get, he got zoomed. He zoomed. You know how dogs get the zoomies? Well, Sheldon got the zoomie. He got the zoomie right the hell out of the show, thanks to Zoom. So, modern technology. Amen, Chucky. Amen. But, Taco, you were going to make that flag for me, weren't you? I don't know. You'll have to talk to me, Taco, after the show or via email when you can. But kind of catch me up on what's going on in your world too, buddy. But anyway, we got more of this article to get through, so let's go through some more of this. But I apologize for all that live technical support, but we're just trying to see if I could remedy it in a quick hurry, and unfortunately I wasn't able to. I got to look into this. Have you tried StreamYard? Yeah, like everybody else. I think StreamYard's a pretty slick program. It's not, I mean, yeah, you're right. That would that would include connecting people. But no, I haven't tried StreamYard for my show. I like the customization options that I have with OBS a lot more. But StreamYard is pretty slick. I mean, it works good. StreamYard works until it doesn't, Jesse Wilkins says. How you doing, Jesse? Jesse just released an album, ladies and gentlemen. Jesse, put in the link to where people can find your album. Jesse, of course, is one of the 3-man team of Hometown Ghost Stories, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful guys. I just have a lot of fun with them. And they've become dear friends of mine. So check out Jesse's music. Yeah. So put it out there, Jesse. And we'll definitely let you promote it here on the shows for sure. Absolutely. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of promoting, as long as I got you here, I guess we can do this. And this is, I somehow closed it. I didn't know I did. So let me do this. There we go. I just posted it on the social medias and stuff, and this is up. A lot of you already know this, but I'm just going to put it up on screen anyway, just to let you know it's out there. But there is a new design for the Paranormal Portal logo on the hats. If you were one of those people like, oh, I like the hats, but I don't like that it looks so small. Well, good news is there's a 2-tier design now that you can check out. And let me pull this up so I can see it. And let me pull this up so you can see it. Here it is. This is the Paranormal Portal merch store. It's paranormalportal.dashery.com. Dashery is DASHERY.com. And there's the new design to help out, hopefully, with some of the problems with the hats. If we click it, there you go. That's what it'll look like with the new design. I don't know if you wanted the older design with just it in one line, you could. It just gets really long, and the font is very small. Thank you, Barbara, for your purchase of the hat, though. I saw that on Discord. I really appreciate it. You're the greatest. It means a lot. But if any of you are waiting for a different design, here you go. If you're so inclined. So it looks great, Brent. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you being here, by the way, too. It's always wonderful to see you. And tell the brother and Mr. Rob that I hope they're doing wonderful as well when you can. Love you guys. Love you, mean it. And I really do. All right, here we go. Let's get to the rest of that article. I'm going to get this off the screen now. But check out the Dashery store. This was number 7 on the list. The DidYouKnowFacts.com. And this is Night Shift Workers Share Their Personal Tales of Paranormal Activity, folks. Go live with Jesse. Invite him. I can't even have Sheldon on the show right now, Taco. I couldn't bring Jesse on even if I wanted to. And I always would want to have Jesse here. Jesse's great. But my Zoom just kind of pooped the bed. So, yeah, you're always welcome, Jesse. Just let me know when you want to come or when you're available. Love to have you on. Did you put your link out there? I didn't know if he did. Did he? I'm just scrolling up. But if he didn't, definitely check out, get in touch with Jesse and find out where his link is for his album. It sounded great. I listened to a couple of the clips and was like, wow, this is great. You can find it on Spotify as well. Oh, okay. You did put it the Spotify link in chat. Good. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jesse. Let's go to number 7, snow removal. Let's read this one. I did snow removal this past winter, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Consistently, we were sent to this old rundown army barracks, armory within the city that was turned into a historical site. Well, showed up there one night at around 2:15 a.m., and the guy I was working with was immediately uneasy upon us arriving. And it says, I'd figured we'd clean off the stairs and walks real quickly and then come back to polish up later when it was less spooky feeling. Well, about 5 minutes into blowing off the snow with backpack blowers, we both heard this horrible screech come from where seemed to be below us in the ground. So we packed it up and said, screw that, and left. We came back with our CL, I don't know what a CL is, around 3:30 a.m. and after telling him what happened, and we rolled up to hundreds of ripped fabrics and twigs tied into intricate knots, and designs hung around the entire building, from windows, doors, lights, trees, hell, even stuff hanging from the roof, all within the hour that we were gone. Also noticed that one of the doors on the building was off of the hinges, just laying in the doorway to give the appearance of being closed. Didn't stay to solve that mystery, was some Blair Witch looking stuff that I was not getting paid enough to dive into. Yeah, that's creepy as hell. All right, I don't know how many more is in this article. Yeah, there's several, so we'll come back to this again tomorrow. That looks like the couple of the next stories are pretty short, but we got to get to some cryptids. I know you guys are waiting on some cryptids. I'm waiting on some cryptids too, so let's get to that. Hi, BJ Lapierre. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Wonderful. John Temperin. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. I'm sorry if I didn't say hello to you as well. All right, let's get to the next stories. These are the cryptids. I think I only got one from Sasquatch Chronicles tonight, but I hope you're ready because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Cryptid Corner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cryptid Corner. This is where we talk about all the creatures that we can fit into the rest of the show. So, as I stated, we're going to start from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. This is a listener email, I think. Isn't it? Yeah, a listener email that Wes got. This one is dated. I don't know when it's dated. It's not dated. Okay, well, there is a date, I'm sure, attributed to this. I just don't know when it is. Usually they're on the top. I don't know what I'm looking at for sure here. But it says I was only about 20 to 30 feet away from it. A listener writes, I was only about 20 to 30 feet away from it. It was moving behind 10-foot tall berry vines, and there was a clearing where the berries dropped down to about 7 feet or so, a small gap in the vines that was only around 3 to 4 feet long. So, an area of berry vines that were around 7 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet long, our dogs stopped in the water to look at what was crashing around. A yellow lab and a German shepherd, both scared to check it out and frozen in fear. When the noise reached the gap in the vines, I saw, as clear as can be, orangish brown hair, just like an orangutan has. Even though I immediately thought something was off, I still knew in my heart I had just seen a bear. Because that's all it could be. No person could walk through those berry vines. And Bigfoot isn't real. At least, that's what I truly thought. The thing that bothered me was when I seen the top of its head. I was expecting to see the ears of a bear. Instead, I saw no ears at all. Just the top of a conical head, like it was leaning over a bit and its face wasn't visible. No ears on top or sticking up from the sides of the head like you'd see on bear. This all happened at a place called Bidwell Park in Chico, California. This park is at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains and heads up in the mountain canyon all the way through the city of Chino, California, following the Chino Creek. And this happened on the outskirts of town, but only around 3 to 5 minute drive from neighborhoods. Not deep into the mountains at the base, going near the city. These vines are so impenetrable. I just don't understand how anything could move through them. So yeah, there's only one possibility for what I saw that day. And it wasn't a human or a bear. Or one of my older brothers was with me too. I'm 47 now and was around 15 or so when this happened. It was a clear day, clear as can be, and is still clear in my memory. And also at a different time, a friend and I had a situation deep in the mountains. I took 2 friends deep into the woods to camp. We drove a 4-wheeler deep into the woods, and we had both front and rear racks loaded, and one drove while 2 sat in the back of the rack. Something grabbed my best friend while we were packing out supplies back to the cabin. 2 of us were at camp waiting for the third to get back from taking a load of supplies back to the cabin. We had come in on 1 load, but knew it would be easier to do it in 2 loads on the way back. Let me know if you'd like to know more. Yeah, I'd always like to know more, but I don't think he's asking me. So there you go. I'm not sure what to make of it. I mean, certainly California is no stranger to Bigfoot sightings. That's pretty common ground. The location of the most iconic film, of course, was Bluff Creek in Northern California, and there still continue to be reports of sightings around there. Maybe, I don't know if it's as much as it once was, or if it's just kind of a bygone conclusion that they're up there, and so it just doesn't get talked about as much, or I just don't look as much. It's got to pretty much jump out at me at this point for me to notice what the hell's going on. But pretty cool stuff. So that's a Bigfoot report. Thanks, Wes, for letting us use the Chronicles. The blog is awesome. So we're going to move over to phantomsandmonsters.com. Just so you know, Lon always streams live on his Phantoms and Monsters Radio on YouTube. And he streamed tonight earlier before my show. And Lon's a great guy, and it's great if you can catch him and support what he's doing. Lon's really a pillar of this community and has been for decades. And so if you get a chance, please support what Lon's doing virtually by just visiting his YouTube page, subscribing, checking out his live streams. Of course, heading over to phantomsandmonsters.com, checking out the plethora of articles that he has over there. He's posted encounter stories. There's thousands of them, of different encounters, from cryptids to ghosts to UFOs to everything in between. So you're always going to find something there. Lon has published works as well. So definitely support what he's doing, and let him know the portal sent you. All right, so this is the first one. This is okay, so of all the cryptids, and I don't know why, because you'd think like definitely Dogman or Bigfoot, or some people say Googway as a type of Bigfoot, so very aggressive a type. Those seem like they would be incredibly intimidating. And I'm sure they are. I certainly when I was growled at. My email is still the same. Yes, Taco. But the thing about creepy cryptids for me, something about these pale crawlers hits me on a real primal level, and I don't know what it is. Like, I don't think I would really love to see any of them up close. Obviously, it would be a terrifying endeavor no matter what. But there's something about these pale crawlers that just feel, I don't know, like I just can't think of anything else but getting away from them. Like if I saw one, I would just be like, no. There's a lot of videos out there that claim to show pale crawlers. Most of them I just watch and it's like, I don't think that's what they're seeing. There may be some valid ones out there. And I'm not saying as I've said many times, I'm not the arbiter of truth. Like they may be real captures. I don't know. But some of them look real suspect. But there's a couple out there that I've seen that apparently highlight these pale crawlers. And I'll tell you, I could feel like a fearful response just watching the video. And that to me was surprising because I watched thousands of video clips, especially through the years. I've just perused, media for years looking for this stuff. But there's a few videos that I've seen of these pale crawlers that hit me on a real primal level, like, oh, no. Oh, no, I don't even want to watch this. I just want to turn it off. And those to me, I don't know why, but it just hits me on a very unique level. And I think that those are very legitimate, like they captured something horrifying. And they aren't really, like, it's not like they watch these things tear apart puppies or something. I mean, they're just there, but there's something about the presence of these things that really, really bother me on a very, very basic level. And I don't really know what it is. But so I don't know. I think of all of them, of all of the cryptids, the one that bothers me the most is these pale crawlers. So I just wanted to put that out there because it doesn't sound like what you would expect. A 10-foot tall dog man that wants to chew off your head, I'm sure would be more terrifying in person. But there's something about even just watching a video of those pale crawlers that just hits me on a deep, creepy level. So, yep, there you go. I watch more than people think. I just don't chat often. Well, we've been missing your company, brother. Glad you're chatting today. Hi, Phil Funk. Good to see you. Good to see you. I think I said hi to you before, but I'm saying it again. Wizard Moon popped in. Good to see you as well. And, of course, our very own Chucky Danger, wonderful friend, and he's a big part of the shows, actually. So thank you, Chucky, for all you do. Thank you, Rachel, for all you're doing. Thank you to all of our wonderful mods and all of our regulars. You guys are amazing. So let's check out this crawler story. I got a cough. Hold on. Got to clear the pipes. You're getting a little hoarse here. Hi, Jess. Good to see you. It's been a while. Good to see you, Jess. Thanks for coming in. All right, here we go. Crawler humanoid chases sisters in Gulf Shores, Alabama Nature Park. When was this article from? April 5th. So this is a very new one. All right, it says, 2 sisters are chased by a tall, skinny humanoid that drops to all fours while skateboarding at night in a nature park in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I recently came across the following account. About 5 years ago, my older sister and I went to a nature park, a wetlands, so to speak, in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Well, of course, we went at night so we could board all around, because you aren't allowed to. You know, a 14-year-old trying to look cool in front of her 24-year-old sister. Well, we went just around as the sun was setting. For a little bit, we got lost since the park is so huge and condensed with thick woods, and we're trying to find the bridge, a 20-foot or so bridge that we can hang out on just above the rushing river. And by the time we got there, the sun was hardly visible over the mountains, and I looked around after drinking my water, and here's where the creepy stuff happened. As I looked at the other side of the bridge, I saw a tall, skinny, human-like figure. I first shrugged it off like it was just a person, maybe a ranger of the park, but then it got on all fours and walked away. I didn't say anything at first, mainly because I thought it was maybe a bear. I looked back at my sister as we chatted about boys and along many other things. I looked back at the end of the bridge. My sister did too, and we both saw the figure this time. Well, at this point, I was totally freaked out, mind you. It's still not dark. The sky was purple and orange, so it wasn't like we were just seeing things like when your mind pictures figures in the dark. No, it was right there, and it was getting closer. I told my sister, let's get the hell out of here. Her going first off the bridge, it says bride. I think they meant bridge, and down the hill, I went second. And as I turned to look at the bridge again, it was 5 feet in front of me, on all fours once again. It stood there as me and my sister skated off, and this isn't even the end. I told my sister to head to the main building since there are cameras and lots of light. We skateboarded for what seemed like hours. Every minute seemed to last an eternity. As we finally got to the main building, we finally stopped riding our boards, out of breath and scared. And we both looked around, but by this time, it was pitch black outside. We made a mad dash to the car, taking a path we had never seen before. But it was outside the park, which made us feel safer. Well, after we got to my sister's Jeep, we both got in, hearts racing and scared out of our minds. And when we tried to leave, the gate was locked. Meaning we couldn't leave since there was only one way in and out of the park. It's a me party. We're all right on. I think I just got a ghostly lap dance. We got even more scared. We tried everything to get out. We even thought about just leaving the car behind and walking 2 hours home. But we drove into the sidewalk and got out of the park. To this day, I won't go back to those wetlands ever again. Even in daylight, whatever that thing was, I never want to see it again. I can't stop thinking about it, and I'm almost 19. You may think this is just a story, but it really did happen. And my sister and I don't even talk about it to this day. Something changed between us. I could feel it after that day. And there's no other comments here from Lon, but that's definitely creepy. But again, this is one of those situations where obviously if it wanted them to be dead, they would have been dead. I don't think they would have made it to the Jeep if it didn't want them to, but it wanted them out of there. Can I be sure of that? No. Especially with these things. Something about these things are just so, I don't know, so creepy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they aren't. I suspect that the pale crawlers, a lot of people call them the rake. People refer to them as rakes. And the rake is a newer term, but I think it's probably just re-describing a very old phenomena known as ghouls. And ghouls were, part of history, at least paranormal history for, hundreds of years. So whatever they are, I don't think they're brand new, just like that new name, the rake, or even crawlers. Those are all both new names, but I think they're describing ghouls. But either way, it's creepy. Laura Pruitt says, I got a creepy. Yeah, me too. I don't know what it is. It's just something about them just feels wrong to me. Not sure what that means even. I'm not even sure how to describe what I feel about them. But I just know that it's just a very, very visceral thing. It's like, no. So anyway, here, speaking of pterosaurs, which came up earlier, when we were discussing cloning, is an article from Phantoms and Monsters about some people seeing a pterosaur in Texas, in the San Antonio, Texas church parking lot, to be a more accurate. So let's check this one out. The pale crawler on your channel here that you bring up creeps me out big time. It looks just like what I had in a dream 3 nights in a row. Oh, yeah, that's creepy. Sorry, BJ. Is that from the stinger for the Cryptid Corner when it's in the group of things? If so, you can thank Grateful Owl for that. She made that. It's not my fault, it's hers. All right, large pterosaur recently observed in San Antonio, Texas church parking lot. Yeah, I think if there was a dinosaur not to bring back to life, I think this might be a good one not to bring back, because I think the fact that it's a dinosaur already, they're huge. Like pterosaur, I think their wingspans were like 30 feet or something like that. They were enormous. And, they were known to eat anything smaller than them. I think they were very voracious. They might have been mostly fishing animals, but maybe not. But I just kicked my tripod, so my camera wiggled. But I don't think it would take them long to go, oh, people, they're pretty slow. Let's grab those. Yeah. So, and they can fly. So it's not like you can just put a cage or a fence around them and they're good. They can fly. So it makes it a lot harder to contain them. And God only knows, they're probably like a dinosaur version of a bat that they could probably fit through a mail slot or something. Just like something stupid. It's like, oh yeah, great. Just got out through a vent. Good. It's 30 feet wide. Wants to eat people. All right, well, let's check out this story. It was a very large, dark bird in the middle of an empty parking lot that I couldn't make up much of its characteristics, but it was very large and dark. Lon says, I received the following. Hi, Lon. Guess I'll just begin with the sighting because I don't know how else to begin. Last night, my dad and mom were outside working on our car. It was dark, and they had been using a lamp, and I was inside while this happened. We live near San Antonio, Texas, and suddenly, my mom came into my room and told me to come outside. I asked her why, but she was talking in such a low voice that I couldn't hear her. When I did, I found my dad looking through the fence to a nearby church. And when I asked what was going on, they just told me to be quiet. So I went to where my dad was, and he pointed to the direction he was looking and told me if I was seeing what he was. Well, it was a very large, dark bird in the middle of an empty parking lot. I couldn't make up much of its characteristics just that it was very large and very dark. So the next morning, I decided to look up local stories in San Antonio and Texas to see if anyone else did anything like this. Sure enough, it turns out Texas has its own little myth of large birds. The pterosaur? I saw pictures and read all the stories, and when my parents came, how without mentioning any of this, I asked if they could describe how it looked, and they were able to match the description. Finally, I showed them a picture, and they both agreed that's how it looked. My story isn't exaggerated. There is definitely something going on around here. And Lon has a note at the end of this one, says, South Texas, particularly between San Antonio and Laredo, has been a hotspot for various cryptid sightings for many decades. And I just I don't know. I mean, are these things always there? I don't know. Kind of makes me think that there's probably some kind of portal involved. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it would work. Again, I've thought about the idea of it being just some kind of portal where something ancient happens to make it into our realm of existence. But then I kind of hit a wall because, as Sheldon was talking about, I think if a dinosaur were to suddenly emerge in our timeline here and now, it would probably fall unconscious pretty rapidly because it wouldn't have the oxygen level that it's used to. It would be like suddenly taking someone from equatorial Africa and putting them on top of Mount Everest like that, and watching how that oxygen deprivation would cripple them. And not to mention, I'm not talking temperatures, I'm talking about the amount of available oxygen would be so drastically different that I don't think that any dinosaur would actually survive for any time period here enough to even fly around. I think it'd be like, oh, I feel dizzy, bam, done. Unconscious at the very least. So, I don't know. There are prehistoric animals that exist, for example, the coelacanth. Yeah, that's true, Jess. And those things have been around long enough to, well, we don't know about oxygen levels in the oceans. Is it the same? Maybe not. Maybe for the aquatic animals, maybe it doesn't matter as much. I mean, there were crocs back then. Crocodiles are ancient as dinosaurs. Sharks. So they've been here the whole time, though. And so they probably adapted, and maybe that's why they're not 50-foot long crocs anymore, or 80-foot long crocs. Maybe that's why they're 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 feet. But they're not as gigantic. And maybe that has a lot to do with the oxygen level, that the species adapted to a much more smaller size, if you will. So I don't know. Just some thoughts. I don't know. It's worth considering. But wait, there's more. Even though I'm a little hoarse, I'm going to read you guys one more because it's kind of love I have for you, because there wouldn't be a show if we didn't discuss some more Bigfoots. This one's from April 2nd, 2025. Bigfoot! I knew that there were giants in this forest. So there you go. This one is pretty brand new from phantomsandmonsters.com. Excuse me. It says, it was a handsome animal as far as I could judge. It was slender but well fed. Its skin and hair appeared to be healthy. That was what made this creature appear other than human. That was what made this creature appear other than human. Oh, okay. I guess made it appear good. I don't know what that means. The summer I was 8 years old, my family went camping for the first time. Despite no obvious lack of experience, my parents chose to take their children wilderness camping off on the eastern shore of Lake Superior. It was, in more ways than one, a learning experience for everyone involved. For instance, the water of Lake Superior in the height of summer warms its way up to about 1 degree Celsius, 33 degrees Fahrenheit, so swimming is pretty much off the menu. And at night, during the height of summer, the temperatures along the shores drop just a whisper above the freezing point of water. Also, giants are living in the forest. Giants that will watch children on the beach during the day and peer into your tent at night. Somehow that little tidbit of information failed to make it into the provincial park brochure. Worse, when I privately confronted my father with questions, he responded with anger, refused to answer, and worst of all, swore me to secrecy despite these rather disturbing incidents. I love camping, especially with my family. We love the woods, streams, lakes, and meadows. I understood that dangerous planted animals were sharing the planet with us, but that was no reason to avoid camping, hiking, or fishing. You're mindful of poison ivy, snakes, and moose and elk. You're not to approach a bear or her cubs. You give wild boars a wide berth. Keep your eyes and ears open and bask in the peace and the bounce of the wild places. In the first in the hills have been a life boon to my mind and spirit. Yes, giants are living in those forests and roaming those hills, but for the most part, they allow us to visit their territories without making their presence obvious or otherwise messing with us for the most part. I think it was the 5th or 6th year, 1971, of our family's camping vacations when we went to Lake Kipawa in southern Quebec. Kipawa is a place that my mother's family had taken her as a girl, and although my parents certainly had not discussed such things with the children, I get the impression that my mom and father considered the lake and its islands to be a safe place. I witnessed bear and their cubs swimming in the channels between one island and another, and had enjoyed one close encounter with a moose that had swam a mile or two across the lake to our island, passing no more than 10 feet from me before disappearing into the forest behind a camp. I've been sworn to silence about the giants, however, so I kept my eyes and ears open and my fears and opinions concerning the forests to myself. This was our second visit to Kipawa, so the place felt pretty familiar, and for the first week, we were there on our own. But during the second week, my grandfather, granduncle, and their sons arrived, staying in the family cabin on a different island a mile or so by boat from where my immediate family was camped. We did visit the cabin, but for the most part, the boys kept themselves jealously guarding their fishing spots or something, but keeping their vacation very much separate from our own. So it came with something of a surprise when my grandfather showed up at our camp one afternoon and commandeered the oldest boy, myself, for an exploration of Dead Bear Bay. Naturally, I was pretty excited to have a chance to explore. What boy would not jump at a chance to investigate a place with a name like that? It never occurred to me to wonder why my grandfather chose me to assist him rather than his own son, my uncle, who just happened to be very nearly my own age of 14. We made our way into Dead Bear Bay, and I understood why my grandfather had needed a second set of eyes on board. The water of Lake Kipawa was a marvel to me. It was amazingly clear. That depended on the lighting, but it was impossible to see more than 100 feet into the depths. And this proved somewhat troublesome for me, as I have a rather acute fear of heights. And passing from the deeper water of the channel into the shallower bay with the sun on my back, I was presented with a vision of a craggy cliff face extending from the surface to a few hundred feet into the black depths. Fighting back a sudden wave of nausea and vertigo, I spun around and focused my eyes on the bottom of the boat, trying very hard not to throw up. My grandfather immediately shouted at me, cursing me for not doing my job, looking out for the huge boulders that choked the shallows. My grandfather arrested the boat's forward motion by kicking the tiller of the outboard motor to the side. I tried to explain what I was experiencing, glancing over the side, but found that we were bobbing just short of the edge of the cliff. The shadow of the boat danced below us on the rock face for 50 or 60 feet. This was possibly the worst place for me to attempt to gain control of myself. My grandfather cut my explanation short. He was not, as he angrily pointed out, looking for excuses, but expected me to do my job. I responded to his curses and his criticism of his daughter, my mother, and her child-rearing skills by suggesting that it might help me to do my job if he would actually explain what he wanted me to do. Apparently, it should have been obvious to me that my grandfather was trying to determine whether or not there was a navigable passage through this narrow strait of shallow water that stretched between two islands from Dead Bear Bay. Someone's here, I guess. Where the hell was it? That actually startled me. Through the narrow, oh yeah, there we are. From Dead Bear Bay to the Good Fishing and the next bay to the north. Wow, this is really long. I had no idea this is this long, folks. We're going to be in overtime. The traditional route that my grandfather and his brothers had used for decades required an hour or more of travel across open water around the island. My grandfather wanted to find a better way passing through the narrow protected shells that bisected what was in reality a single island and cutting 20 minutes off the trip. He proposed we idle forward with him in the tiller and with me calling out turns to the left and the right to avoid sometimes house-sized boulders that lurk just inches below the surface. I took a moment to assess the situation. The passage to the north was likely less than 2 miles long, and in places appeared to be no more than 50 feet wide. The two halves of the island were heavily treed, and tall drowned trunks rose out of the water on either side like weathered pillars. It looked like a really impractical way to get to the good fishing spots, but I could see the darker waters of the open bay to the north beckoning. I could understand whose urge to try the shorter route closer at hand, top of the submerged cliff. The water between the boulders was 30 or 40 feet deep. Sorry, this is really hard to read. The sentences are kind of spilled together. The tops of those boulders reached to just below the surface, and spaces between the boulders might be 30 or more feet in width. The sky was partly cloudy, and the sun was in good position at our backs to light the way ahead. The wind in the protected area between the wooded heights to the east and west was almost non-existent. The surface of the water was almost glossy, and only the gentlest of swells made it to us from the far bay. Coming back might prove more difficult with the sun ahead of us, but it might just be possible to do this thing. Well, I sometimes wonder how my grandfather would have reacted if I just refused to cooperate, but decided that his proposal was reasonable. I took up a paddle to fend us off the rocks if necessary, and told my grandfather to come right starboard. He corrected, swinging the bow violently to the right, then just as violently left, nearly toppling me out of the perch in the bow port. "This is a boat, for God's sakes." "Fine," I snapped. "Bring us to starboard." Then Grandpa brought the boat around, and with only a few bumps and rubs, we managed to proceed far more than half the length of the strait, making very slow progress, but having had to back out of a false lead only a couple of times. As we got further to the north, the water became more and more shallow, and it became easier and easier to see whether a gap between the rocks was passable, even as the spaces between the boulders became narrower and narrower. Eventually, however, we reached a point that the passage appeared to be completely blocked. The water was deep enough, 45 feet, but the tops of the boulders were no more than an inch or so beneath the surface, and the spaces between were measured at inches as well. I slid over the side and stood at the top of the nearest boulder. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" my grandfather demanded. While I get back in the boat, I refrained from pointing out that he had rejected earlier attempts at explanation and walked back and forth to top the boulders from one side of the straightaway to the other, a distance of no more than 40 or 50 feet. It was amazing how flat and uniform the top of these boulders were. The glaciers from 100,000 years before had done a very thorough job smoothing out the Canadian shield. I finished my inspection. There's simply no place where the boat could float past unless you went want to try dragging the boat over the boulders, I replied. Getting back in the boat as he insisted, this was as far as we can go. My grandfather fumed and made his way to the bow, having to confirm this with his own eyes, that what I had reported was in fact the truth. In his frustration, he banged that aluminum hull into the nearby rocks, more trying to get the boat turned around. And we'd done making our way to that point, finally. I slid back over the side, picked up the bow, and walked the boat around to the point we had come. As I expected, the sun's glare in the water made it harder to see where we were going, but it didn't help to know that there was a way back. Of course, we do not know the way south any more than we had known the way north, and so there were just as many false starts and retreats. It seemed to me that we had been more to this eastern side of the strait on our way north, but we were tending more to the western side of the strait on our way back, every time that we were forced to reverse out of a narrow path. My grandfather seemed to get more and more frustrated, and there was only one other person in the boat that he could blame. I held my tongue and kept my eyes on my task. As a lookout, I concentrated on getting us back to the open water with as little conflict as possible. Sounds like a lovely time with Grandpa. Grandpa needs to just get a grip. Then, all at once, I felt an uncomfortably familiar cold prickling on my scalp. Suddenly, I knew that something was watching us. I lifted my eyes from the water and swept the area around us, but at first I did not see how something could be watching us. The strait at that point was fairly wide. The forested heights to the east down to the west were a few 100 feet away, but the eyes felt much, much closer. There's a narrow reef of granite reaching out from the western half of the island, forming a kind of wall alongside our path, the western limit to the navigational part of the bay. The reef was mostly submerged, but there were a few spots where it rose above the surface. Closer to the island, there was a stand of dead trees rising from the water near at hand. Elevated stretches were dotted with thick trunks of what might have been cedar trees along these though long dead. The bark stripped away and the underlying wood polished to a uniform silver gray. The very few branches remaining attached to those trunks were thick and broken off short, extending no more than 5 or so feet from the trunks. This is a very well-written story, but it's a lot of detail that nobody needs. It's like, oh my God. My grandfather yelled at me as the boat rubbed along one of the boulders, but I ignored his wrath, bended us off, then closed my eyes to reduce the distraction of sight, and reached out for the source of my discomfort long before I realized that I could walk into a place to know whether there were others around. I have no idea how I can do this. That has proven useful from time to time. I raised my chin and swung my head from side to side, zeroing in on the watcher by feel rather than by vision. Within seconds, I knew that my face was pointed directly towards whatever had us in his sights. I opened my eyes and was instantly confused. I was staring at a branch 20 feet above the water, somewhat ahead of us, no more than 50 feet away. There's nothing there. The silvery trunk of the cedar was stripped of its bark, and 4 and 5 feet of branch within this distinctive twisted wood grain, but nothing else. Meanwhile, my grandfather kept us moving forward, and the hull brushed along the edge of the second boulder. "What are you doing?" he demanded. "The rocks aren't up in the trees." "No," I replied, sounding alarmed and quickly applying the paddle to ease us past the obstacle. "But there's something in that tree." My grandfather scanned the nearby tree trunks. "I don't see anything," he growled, turning his attention back to the guiding the boat. But I could not keep my mind on the boat and the rocks. I could feel something watching, and we were only getting closer. I directed my grandfather, but immediately returned my attention to the tree, and that branch in particular. Could something have ducked behind the tree when I saw it? That was about to look? Squirrels would do that, only this watcher was still watching. I could feel its eyes upon me. I knew it was in plain sight but I just couldn't see it. I checked on the progress of the boat, decided that we were okay at the moment, then looked back at the branch and were almost even with the tree and no more than 30 feet from its base. If I was standing on that branch, I realized it would not be impossible for it to jump into the boat as it passed. I stared at the branch, willing myself to see what was there, and became aware of a strange pressure in the back of my head. Reflexively, I pushed back against that pressure, and a weird kind of mistiness appeared above the branch, like the vapor pouring out of a freezer when the cold air is rushing out, but opaquely dense. Only this mist was not falling. As I continued to push, the rolling mist seemed to become more transparent in spots, and I caught fleeting glimpses of the creature hidden by the mist. The first thing I saw was its face, but my eyes seemed to slide away from its gaze, and I took in details of its body more easily. The mist continued to form and dissipate, alternately hiding portions of the creature and then revealing some other detail. It was hard to see, but I was forming an impression of the thing in the tree. The next thing I noticed was that the hair that covered its body was 6 to 8 inches long and moving gently in the slight breeze. The hair was silver gray, much like the tree in which it was perched. The creature appeared to be standing on the branch, squatting on its heels, and I could see its toes. But its feet were mostly covered in the hair from its lower legs. The toes looked like those of a human, but really thick, and seemed to have knees projecting out in front of it. The hair on its knees appeared to be worn thin. The long hair disguised the edges of its body, but it seemed to have a head and shoulders on one end and feet and knees on the other. It was a little late for a shiver to run through me, but one did. Its right arm was tucked in its lap, the upper arm held close to the body, and its forearm hidden in the long gray hair of its abdomen. The trunk at the height of the branch was easily 3 feet in diameter, but his left arm wrapped all the way around the back of the tree, and his left hand was plainly visible on the side of the trunk facing me. The creature had impossibly long arms, and those arms ended in hands. His thumb and fingers were splayed out on the smooth wood of the trunk plainly. The hair of its forearm extended past its wrist and over the back of its hand, but the thing had fingers and a thumb. I could see the gray, leathery skin forming creases at the joints of each finger, and the creature had fingernails. For an instant, I lost sight of it as my mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing, and the gray mist closed in and shrouded the creature from my sight. I understood from my first camping experience that there were giants in the forest, but this one was very different from the ones that I had encountered. Before squatting on the branches, probably only 4 feet from its toes to the top of its head, although I imagine it would have been closer to 6 feet or more if standing upright, and it was gray. The last one that I had seen had been the reddish brown of dead pine needles. Was I looking at a savvy child, a teenager, concentrating? Well, I pushed back as hard as I could, and for a few seconds, I could see the creature clearly. I made a quick confirmation of my previous observations. Hands, feet, knees, shoulders, and then focused on the creature's face. Oh my God, how long is this? Oof. All right. My eyes were still wanted to slide away, but I kept facing my gaze back on the target. The hair on its head seemed much longer than that on the other areas of its body, but that might merely have been my impression as wisps of hair drifted across its face, moving with the breeze, but not obscuring the features to any great detail or great degree. The hair on its head appeared to be cleaner, straight, flowing, but not particularly neat. The hair did not cover its face, but blur the demarcation between its head and its neck. In fact, it seemed to sit directly on its shoulders. But that might have been an effect of all of that hair hanging down and flaring out across its shoulders. As near as I could tell, with all that unruly hair, its skull was rounded at the crown. It had no more hair on its chest or cheeks or jaw than I did, but its eyebrows were thick and darker than the hair on its head. It may have had a brow ridge, but its eyes did not appear to be particularly sunken. Those brows shadowed its eyes, but as close as they were to one another, it was obvious that it had wide-set brown eyes, the color of the chestnut. It had pronounced cheekbones and skin that looked soft, gray, glove leather. The mouth was a little unsettling, which seemed twice as wide as my own, although I would have to guess that this head was no larger than mine. Its lips were thin, but they were apparent. Its nose was fleshy and wider than I was used to in the people with whom I was familiar, but it seemed to fit the rest of the face. Its nostrils were hooded, and I was only looking up its nose because it was viewed from below. Wide eyes, wide mouth, wide nose, all appeared proportional. It all appeared right, and it appeared to fit all except its jaw. Once again, the hair framing the face made the lines hard to define. I had no idea what its ears looked like, for instance, or whether it was male or female, but its jaw seemed heavy and had no chin more than anything else. That was what made this creature appear other than human. Honestly, it was a handsome animal as far as I could judge. It was slender but well fed. Its skin and hair appeared to be healthy. Its nails were not obviously dirty and didn't appear to be broken. I focused my attention on its eyes. It appeared to be studying me in much the same way that I was observing it. It appeared to be amused. Grandpa asked in a voice just barely more than a whisper, "What is that?" My grandfather glanced at me and shifted his eyes to the tree, but immediately returned his eyes to piloting the boat. "What is that?" he demanded in an angry tone of voice. "The animal squatting in the tree," I snapped back, pointing for emphasis. "Quit screwing around, damn it. I brought you along to keep you as a lookout, not to be asking dumb questions." "Grandpa," I responded, allowing my tone to match his own, "look me in the eyes and tell me you don't see anything squatting on that branch." My grandfather twisted his head and looked directly at the branch, but immediately swung his head back towards the bow, locked eyes with me. "I told you to stop screwing around," he said in a low and dangerous voice. "Tell me," I persisted, lowering my voice as well, but in a respectful way, not a threatening one. "Tell me you don't see anything unusual in that tree." My grandfather broke eye contact with me, sat clenching his jaw, and said nothing more. I looked back at the creature perched in the tree. Its head had turned to follow us as we moved past. As I stared at it, I silently asked, "What are you?" And I heard no reply, but my blood ran cold as the creature met my eyes. A grin, a disturbingly inhuman wide grin, split its face. It understood exactly what it had done. That realization terrified me. My grandfather sat in stony silence the whole way back to the camp. I did not continue to pester him for answers, although I felt certain that he had seen something. I felt angered and betrayed at his stubborn silence, just as I felt my father for refusing me to speak about such things. I was certainly not the first teenager to decide that adults were sometimes out of their minds. My grandfather brought the boat to shore and allowed me to climb out of the bow, but stayed in the boat and called my mother over. He glared at me until I moved off to where I could not overhear, and he held 10 feet off while speaking with his daughter. Their conversation was very short. I sat on a boulder at the edge of our camp with my back to the adults, seething with adolescent indignation. My mother approached me but stood at my back rather than joining me on the rock. "What happened between you and grandfather?" She simply sounded hurt, perhaps disappointed with me. "What did he tell you had happened?" I demanded. "He wouldn't say," my mother spat back. "John, you've always been the most cooperative child. Why would my father tell me that you wouldn't listen or obey simple instructions? It was just not fair. I want to explain exactly what had occurred, but my father had sworn me to secrecy concerning the forest people. I can neither lie to my mother nor tell her the truth. Do you know of a place called Dead Bear Bay, where the bay gets shallow and it's full of rocks just below the surface?" "Certainly," she replied, gesturing to the water. "The island is in Dead Bear Bay." "Yeah? Well, your dad wanted to find a way into the next bay to the north. He took us to this narrow channel choked with boulders and expected me to guide us around every rock in the place. It was impossible to get through there, and impossible to avoid every bit of granite on the way. Every time he ran us up against a stone, it was me not paying attention and me not doing my job. My mother seemed satisfied with this explanation and said what she could to comfort me. I felt ashamed that she would offer comfort. To this day, I regret that because of an oath to my father. I could not offer her the whole truth. So apparently that was sourced from a YouTube channel. I don't know what this channel is, but that's an incredibly comprehensive, detailed story that took forever to read. Now, I think it all could have been crunched down to we were trying to navigate this bay full of rocks, and I had this feeling we were being watched. I looked up and then explained the Bigfoot. Go into deep explanation. But I don't think it was necessary to take us all on a in a biography of a family camping trip. And I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but there was a lot more information in that than needed to be to just tell the story. Family dynamics aside, it's like the guy decided to share his Bigfoot experience and air a whole bunch of laundry. He was hanging it all out there. So anyway, that's the story. Hope you guys liked it. I don't even know what time it is, but that felt forever. Yeah, we did about 15 minutes overtime. Hope that was okay. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I always love doing these shows with you guys. I'm thrilled you're here with me as always. I will be back tomorrow night with Mr. Tex Wesson as we dive into more of the portal. No, we didn't need to hear about the drama, Marcia. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, thanks for all of the, what was this? Was this a Bigfoot story or a therapy? I don't know. I didn't know what to do. As I was reading it, I was thinking, well, maybe you should try this. But anyway, it wasn't counseling, but it felt like counseling as well as a Bigfoot story. So anyway, my eyes are kind of burning now. But that was the journey. I hope you guys had a great time. Hey, Bogart. Bogart says it was awesome. Well, I'm glad you liked it. That's good. I mean, I thought it was a good story. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, man, that was a long, long, long story full of a lot of extra stuff that didn't really have anything to do with seeing a Bigfoot. It had a lot to do with getting some things off their chest, though. Who's Brenton? Brenton, the only Brenton I've ever known was Brenton Sawn, and I didn't know him personally. But I forgot what his show was called, Mysteries to something. Brenton Sawn's Mysteries to Search or something like that, maybe. Yeah. Oh, you're talking to me. Oh, you're talking to me. Okay. Brenton is my brother. Oh, very cool. Brenton Sawn's your brother? Or just another guy named Brenton? I don't know if you're related to Brenton Sawn or what you're saying. I really enjoyed the show. Well, thank you, Masha. Or Marcia, rather. Not Masha, Marcia. Thank you. I'm glad you were here. And I'll be back again tomorrow night. We do these live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night. They all start at 7 p.m. So just wherever you're watching from, just watch again on those other nights. And if you are interested in checking out the podcast, I do a podcast as well. This isn't it. This is just a variety show covering lots of different paranormal stuff. But I do a podcast that's very interview-based, where I talk to experiencers, researchers, authors, sometimes celebrity personalities in the fields. But check them out. You can find those on all the platforms: Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Google Play, Castbox, Stitcher, Podbean, etc., etc., etc. So wherever you listen to podcasts, look for Paranormal Portal, and you can check those out as well. So that's all I got, though. It starts at 10 for me. You're right, 10 Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, so 8 Mountain. That's all the U.S. time zones that I know. So wherever it is, but hi, all 13. Good night to you, and thank you for coming in. Yeah, great to see you all. No, his name is just Brenton. Okay. Brenton Woods, the singer, just passed. Oh, really? That's another Brenton I didn't know about. Okay. I've seen your podcast with Vic. I like his shows, too. Thank you, Marcia. Well, hopefully you'll listen to all of them and become just a regular here. That'd be wonderful. Be wonderful to have you become a part of the shows. So if you want to subscribe, if you're not already, ring the bell so you know when we go live. And all notifications helps because And if you're watching shows that aren't live, please feel free to, if you don't mind, if you want to help me out with the algorithms, leave comments wherever you're watching them. That does help and shows engagement. So still time to answer the question of the week on Discord. That'll be tomorrow.
Nephew.
It said nephew. It said nephew. The ghost box said nephew. Okay. Anybody know what that means? All right. I don't know what nephew means, but hopefully my nephews are wonderful. Anyway, that's all we got time for tonight. I'm all out of voice and steam. So Brenton is your nephew? Huh? Anyway, all right, I got to go. I got to go eat something. I haven't eaten something for many, many, many hours. So I'm famished here. But you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for being a part of the journey. As always, remember, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Help each other out. And remember to laugh as much as you can and find the magic in every day. So that's the show. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Tex Wesson should be here with me from Texas Front Porch. So we'll dive into it all again then. So good night, everybody. And well, you can tune in whenever you want, Phil. If it's not live, there's got to be some video on demand. I've got 1,700 and some episodes here on YouTube, so should be plenty to watch if it's not a live show. All right, love you guys, and I'll see you next time tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, be there, and feel free to bring a friend. All right, good night, everybody.